um, did you have a chance to watch Brian Kelly at LSU? I thought he was interesting. But one takeaway that I'll have, and then I'll let you have the floor. But in the beginning, and hearing myself now that we've been doing this podcast, hearing myself back and watching, what I do, how I talk, how I speak, and things like that. I thought Brian Kelly uses filler words like and ah more than I do when you put a microphone in front of me. So that made me feel pretty good about myself. I don't make millions of dollars, and hearing him just fill his speech with these filler words. It was just it was quite comical for me. But what was your takeaway with LSU?
Well, uh, just a little preface for the show. So I actually, uh, and I love watching Josh Pate's show. Um, Josh Pate did a one-on-one with him after he had come off stage and everything, and I feel like I got a little bit more out of that than I did actually what the reporters were asking. Felt like he was a little more comfortable, but you know, Brian Kelly, I gotta give it to the guy. You know, you got to go back to whenever he first came, and he's dancing with recruits, and he's talking about his family, moving down to Louisiana. So he was a little bit of a fish out of water, right? I mean, we all kind of saw it, but you know, a good damn football coach is a good damn
Hmm.
football coach. I mean, let's just real recognize real this guy is definitely taking LSU in the right direction. I have no doubt about that. And he's going to have more talent than ever. But I was very impressed with his ability to just lay it all out there. And this is like the opposite of Jimbo. Jimbo won't tell you anything. Brian Kelly just pretty much told you flat out, "Hey, our weakness is our secondary. We took, elite teams don't take 12 guys in the transfer portal, and we did, and they're all on defense. Um, and that's not what elite teams do. We've got a good team, uh, and high school recruiting has got to be more of a focus for if you're going to be elite, if you're going to be a championship winning team." And he is dead right. You listen, transfer portal, some of these middling to lower teams are just taking 20 guys, 30 guys, 50 guys if you're Colorado. To be an elite team, you're not going to build an elite squad out of transfers, and that's what LSU secondary is. We're used to seeing LSU be DBU, but guess what? That's not happening this year. That's not who they are. They're going to need guys to step up that have came in from other places like East Louisiana. Um, the list goes on and on. They've got running back from Notre Dame that um, I actually am very excited about. But uh, I thought he just kind of laid it all out there, and I can admire that. And um, I think it'll probably serve him well because don't think for a second that these players aren't going to see all these clips and all this stuff from media days. They're going to go watch it, and
They're
they're
gonna
going to
be they're gonna see first and long in these clips and us talking about it.
they're here they're here now. They're watching now. Um, and they're going to go back and think about what we're saying right now. Um, but no, I really admire what he's done. I think it'll motivate those guys when they do see it, uh, and hopefully, uh, hopefully they can step up for him because um, that LSU never has an easy schedule. Um,
Right.
but this secondary is going to have to step up if they're wanting to get where they want to go, and that's winning the SEC and going to the playoffs.
Right. And what I thought was interesting in hearing Brian Kelly, who I think like I feel like if I met Brian Kelly, he's the type of guy that would smell like baby powder. I don't know why. He just gives me that
Mm,
vibe, you
yeah.
know.
Hmm.
But I thought it was interesting that he seemed to be very focused on talking about in his interview with Josh Pate or the press conference. He was very focused on talking about consistency as a program, and I started to think about it. Has there been a more, you know, well, typically up, but kind of an up and down team than LSU. I mean, the highs of winning championships, and then I mean the lows of having to fire Ed Orgeron just 2 seasons after that. Even before that, I mean, with Les Miles, he was a very roller coaster, season to season type of coach for a little while there, to the point where they had to fire him. But going back probably the last 20 seasons, this has been one of the more one of the more wild rides of a college football team. And I feel like Tiger fans must be craving this idea that Brian Kelly's talking about, of creating this consistent team that is constantly in the competition, making playoff games, and making it to the SEC championship. I thought that was really interesting, and I think that they are on their way. I mean, Louisiana is a hotbed for talent. A lot of people don't realize this, but for high school football in the state of Louisiana, they have the most Division 1 athletes per student of any state in the country. And LSU does a better job than any team in the country of keeping that talent in state. So, therefore, X plus Y equals Z, right? LSU has a lot of talented guys, and they're going to continue to have that. They're only going to continue to have that as Brian Kelly creates, like he's saying, this more consistent team that is not only winning games but producing NFL talent at a consistent level, which they have done historically, long before Brian Kelly came about. But this is a it's tough to call LSU a sleeping giant, but I do think that they have maybe underperformed over the last 10 seasons or so from where this team could be potentially.
Yeah, absolutely. And that they kind of remind me of Auburn, the way that it seemed like there for a while. It was every other year Auburn was, knocking on the door of a BCS game. Um, but all you LSU fans, I feel like you got a good coach there, and I do feel like he's going to get that situation straightened out in the secondary. And you know what? Hey, they may be able to handle that this year. And uh, there's not, you know, it's not often you say this, but you look around the SEC this year. There's not a ton of returning quarterbacks. Not super great ones anyway. So if there's a year to maybe ease your way into the pool as far as the secondary goes, maybe this is it. But overall, I think he did a great job, just kind of laying it all out there. And I do. Brian Kelly has grown on me since he's been at LSU. Um, Now, are they winning the SEC this year? That's yet to be seen. The offense should be pretty daggone good. So I think that they'll be able to score the points. Uh, it's going to depend on that defense. But I will say this: nothing was more entertaining than when Coach O showed up to media day. So, Coach O, shout out to you, brother.
Wanted to get bigger. I'll stop. Hey, stop the ball, stop the drill. I'm having a press conference. Thank you.
Brother, yeah, hang in there.
It's
Maybe they'll get you a job in the office somewhere up there, man. LSU needs you back. Go Tiger.
this media days reminded me that at one point for SEC media days, you had you had Coach O, Mike Leach, and Sam Pittman all doing media days. Not in the same season, I guess. And I guess I feel like the SEC media days maybe lacked a little bit of that character, that personality, but especially with Mike Leach not being there. But it was still entertaining nonetheless. But those are irreplaceable personalities for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We need more of that.